Hey folks, Tuesday was night 2 of the blind auditions on season 4 of The Voice on NBC. If you blinked or went to the bathroom, then you might have missed it. It did seem to go by pretty fast, I guess, since it was only an hour long as opposed to the 2-hour show on Monday night. I guess I shouldn't complain too much since I actually prefer the shorter shows, but I can't help myself. I'm a chronic complainer, much like the first contestant of the night, 32-year-old Tawnya Reynolds, spelt Tawnya. Tawnya. Now, if that ain't a country-sounding name, then I just don't know what is. All she seemed to do is complain about how Nashville doesn't want her. Even Usher could have told her what a tough state that is to live in. Tanya's been living in Nashville for 12 years now, but none of the labels want anything to do with her, and so she spends 4 to 5 nights a week singing for anybody to listen to her, regardless of whether they pay her or not. For her audition, she sang, "Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys," and it was quite good. I'm not sure if that hokey old song was the perfect song to audition with, though. It was enough to get 3 of the coaches to turn around for her, though. All of them except the one that I'm sure she was gunning for. Blake was the only one that did not turn around. Boy, that had to sting. Usher proved that he knows absolutely nothing about country music by comparing Tawnya to Dolly Parton. She don't even sound nothing like Dolly Parton. Shakira said that out of the 3 of the coaches that did turn around, she is the most country, and she pulled out her English to country dictionary and said, "I reckon that you'll want to join Team Shakira," and it was enough to win Tawnya over. Maybe by the time the battle rounds are over, she won't be so dang negative. Next up, 27-year-old Josiah Hawley wanted to prove that he's more than just a pretty face. Well, he's been traveling the world as a model for the past few years. Well, that must be like hell on earth. For his audition, he sang Sunday Morning by Maroon 5. It always feels like butt-kissing when they sing a song by one of the coaches. I don't usually mind it, though, as long as they can pull it off, but I don't think Josiah pulled it off very well. Well, it wasn't the worst thing that I've ever heard, but there's no way I would have turned around for it. All of the guy coaches did, though. Blake and Usher hit their buttons pretty early. Adam waited until the last minute, but then he basically said that he didn't really like it. He said that there were parts of it that didn't work for him, but he said that Josiah has a quality in his voice that reminds him of himself. Well, he isn't self-absorbed at all, is he? Blake thought that Josiah was badass and that his hair was badass, and then he messed up with his own hair. Who knew that Blake's hair was so long? No, badass or not badass, I thought his ass was just fine. It was his singing that I wasn't crazy about. Josiah ended up going with Usher, though, because Usher said that he would give him the truth. But the truth is, he doesn't stand a chance of winning. If by some spoof he survived the battle rounds, he would have a horde of people saying that he's only there because of his looks. But his looks are not going to be enough to save him, regardless of how many times they show him without his shirt on. Marginally talented, good-looking guys only do well when they're single, so maybe he should have left a wife at home. I don't know, for some reason, married guys don't usually do very well, unless they're ugly. Ugly married guys can do fine, but good-looking ones, it's like people want to sleep with them. And, well, of course, they're never going to, but they want that opportunity to be there, I guess. Next up was Ryan Hayes and John Peter Lewis. They called themselves Midas Whale. I think they got their name straight out of Shakira's English to Country dictionary. I want to audition for The Voice. You want to? Yeah, Midas Whale. Now, they didn't mention this on the show, but many of you might remember John Peter Lewis from Season 3 of American Idol. He finished 8th place. I think he went home the week before Jennifer Hudson, I believe. If he hadn't said his name, though, I'm not sure that I would have recognized him because he sure does look different now. That is a good thing, though, because I did not like him when he was on American Idol, mainly because he looked like this guy that I used to know that I didn't like, and I'm petty like that. I'll hold a grudge against you just for looking like somebody that I don't like. Some of you may remember him because Simon told him at his audition that he looked like a pen salesman. Now he looks like the father of a pen salesman. Anyways, for their audition, they sang Folsom Prison Blues with a guitar and an accordion, and it wasn't bad. I think they could do well based on their personalities, though, more than their singing. I don't know, I still don't get the whole duo thing on a show called The Voice. If a duo wins, are they going to change it to The Voices? I don't know. All of the coaches turned around, though, even though Shakira waited until the last minute. Usher gave them a standing ovation, and he reminded them that he was the first person to turn. Blake told them not to screw up their lives by going with one of the other coaches. Shakira loved them because they can both speak Spanish, but they ended up going with Adam, even though I thought his sales pitch was the least impressive. Next up was 35-year-old giant Abraham McDonald. He once won a karaoke contest after competing for 2 whole weeks on the Oprah Winfrey Show, but I wouldn't put a whole lot of stock into that, especially if it's the new show on Oprah's new channel, because nobody watches that channel, do they? Plus, we learned from Season 9 of American Idol that talk show hosts generally aren't that good for singing competitions. Anyways, for his audition, Big Mac sang The Best Thing I Never Had, and it was just barely karaoke. So I didn't like it at all, and I've never understood why some singers end everything with a huh, huh, huh. Sounded like he was being kicked in the stomach, and that's probably what he felt like when nobody turned around for him. It did make the end of the song feel quite appropriate, though. It sucks to be you right now. Next up was 19-year-old Cathia. I gotta say, I'm kind of getting over all these one-name contestants. It's okay for like Usher and Shakira, you know, famous people. Well, I know she's trying to become famous, but it always seems to feel a little less personal in a competition setting when you don't have a last name. Anyway, Cathia sang a song in Spanish. I'm not even going to attempt to say the name of it, but she said it means, I will never give up. I'm really not going to attempt to judge the singing either. I mean, it sounded pleasant enough, but I'm not going to sit here like Blake and say, I didn't understand one word, but I loved every second of it. I personally can't love anything when I don't understand the words. Like that girl yesterday that was singing that song in full English, but she butchered every single word. This girl might have been doing the same thing in Spanish for all I know. She was very pretty, though. She looked like one of the girls on, well, actually all of the girls on Team Christina last season. Remember last season, all of Christina's girls looked and sounded alike? So yeah, she looked like that. I wasn't crazy about her mullet dress, though. It looked like a party in the front and a wedding in the back. I don't know what is up with all these girls in these mullet dresses these days, but whatever. Everyone except Adam hit their button for Cathia, but we knew she was going to end up going with Shakira. Well, she would have been nuts to pick Blake. He would have had her up there singing La Bamba. Shakira knows what to do with her, so it was a good pick. And the last of the night was 22-year-old Sarah Simmons. Sarah's dad is a recovering drug addict. Is that like becoming a requirement this season? To have a parent with substance abuse issues? I don't know, because we've heard the same story a couple of times already, it feels like, this season. And the season just now got started. By the time they get to the battle rounds, it's going to be like a big old Al-Anon meeting. Anyway, for her audition, Sarah sang One of Us by Joan Osborne. I'm not crazy about that song, and honestly, I wasn't really crazy about the way she sang it. There were parts of it that I liked, but there were so many parts. It was like 5 people were taking turns singing. I thought she'd made the song a whole lot more complicated than it really needed to be. It's a very simple song. No doubt she's a really good singer that can do a lot of different things. I just hope that next time we hear her, she doesn't do so many different things in one song. She got all of the coaches to turn around for her, though. They acted like she was the best thing that ever hit the stage. Blake said that she was in the top 3 that he's ever heard on The Voice. I wonder who the other 2 were. Sarah ended up going with Adam, and he said that she was not of this earth. But I wasn't that crazy about it. I've seen a lot of people online saying, game over, she's going to win. What am I missing? So anyway, that was it for Tuesday night. Once again, I wasn't really crazy about any of them, but we've seen so far 13 out of what's going to be 48 people moving on to the battle rounds, so hopefully there's somebody I can get behind before it's all said and done. I think the show is going to be really good this season, and it was really good last season, but I really don't like the way they keep congratulating themselves. If you truly are the best show, then you don't need to keep saying it. And what was it on Monday night? Adam said that the show is the best because they focus on the contestants. Like hell y'all do. Y'all haven't even mentioned the name of the winners after they won, and I'm kind of getting used to that, though. I know a lot of people are not liking The Voice because the winners don't seem to do anything, but a lot of the winners on American Idol don't do anything either, so I don't know if the general public really realizes that American Idol has had success stories over the past couple of years, so I don't think it much matters. So anyway, leave me a comment and let me know what you thought about the show last night. Come be my Facebook friend, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you folks next time.